All right, listen up. The first rule of a field is you forget everything you learned about academic writing. Out here, words are tools. Clarity saves lives, and ambiguity, well, that gets people hurt. Today, we're covering the one skill that separates the competent from the completely overwhelmed, writing a situation report, a SitRep, when everything is hitting the fan. This is your handbook for turning pure chaos into a clear, actionable decision. So let me ask you something straight up. A crisis just broke on your watch. Could be an outbreak, could be an industrial accident, doesn't matter. Could you walk into the command post, look the person in charge straight in the eye, and give them the entire picture, what's happening, where it's headed, and exactly what you need in less time than an elevator ride? Because that's all the time you're going to get. 90 seconds. That is the absolute maximum window you have before a high-level decision-maker's mind is already on the next fire. If they can't get the situation, the trend, and your request in that time, you've already failed. And out here, failure leads to some very, very bad decisions down the line. So how do you meet that 90-second challenge? You need a blueprint. A SitRep isn't just a document you type up. It's a system. It's a structured way to force order onto a chaotic reality. And we're going to break down how you build it because, well, the way you write it is completely counterintuitive. And here is that backwards part I was talking about. This is how you write it. You build the report from the ground up, starting with the hard facts. First thing you do, you get the numbers, key figures, key data. That's it. Then you list what your team has actually done. After that, you identify the gaps, the risks, what you need. And only at the very, very end, after all the facts are laid out, do you write the summary. You have to write the conclusion last because you don't even know what it is until you've assembled all the pieces. But, and here's the magic trick, the person you give it to, they read it in the exact opposite order. Your commander, your director, whoever's in charge, they start right with that summary you just wrote. They need the bottom line up front, or the BLUF. They'll only dig down into the raw data if your summary makes them ask a question. And that's the whole secret to this thing. You write from the bottom up, but you present it from the top down. Okay, let's talk about words. In an operations center, language is a tool, not poetry. Adjectives like significant or concerning, they're worse than useless. They're actually dangerous. They create confusion right where you need absolute precision. So we get rid of them. We replace them with cold, hard data every single time. And this right here shows you exactly what I mean. The before is just a passive observation. All it does is make people worry. The after, that's a weapon. It gives a precise number, a terrifying growth rate, a location, time frame, and a clear, direct request. It doesn't just inform a decision, it forces a decision. This is the standard, period. Now, this is a core discipline. You have to signal to your reader how much they should trust every single piece of information you give them. Is a number confirmed from a lab, or is it just reported by a team in the field? Is a case suspected because it fits the definition, or is it your professional assessment based on incomplete data? Using these exact words isn't optional. It's how you maintain your credibility when the facts are changing by the hour. So all of this, the structure, the precise language, it all comes together in the single most important paragraph you will ever write. It's called the BLUF, the bottom line up front. This is your executive summary. If your boss reads nothing else but these 4 sentences, they should have everything they need to make the right call. And here's the formula. It's not poetry, it's a recipe. Sentence 1, what is happening, to whom and where? Sentence 2, is it getting better or worse and what's causing that? Sentence 3, what are we doing about it and what's the biggest thing holding us back? And sentence 4, the most critical part, what do you need from the reader and by when? Let's see it in action. Here's a BLUF for a cholera outbreak. Look at the precision. Sentence 1, 87 cases, 4 deaths. Sentence 2, deteriorating situation. Sentence 3, our main gap is that our oral rehydration salt stocks cover only 40% of what we need. And then sentence 4, the ask. Release more ORS and let us issue a boil water advisory by 6 p.m. tonight. See? No fat. Everything the commander needs is right there. It's an actionable piece of intelligence. Okay, that's the theory, but how do you actually do this when you're in a noisy ops center and the clock is just screaming at you? Well, you don't just open a doc and start typing. You use a disciplined workflow. This is the 45-minute drill to get you from a blank page to a finished report. Now, the most important thing here is how you separate the tasks. For the first 15 minutes, you are nothing more than a data collector. Just get the numbers, no sentences. For the next 15, you're just logging what's been done, in bullets.
Only in that third block do you actually start writing. The biggest mistake rookies make is trying to do all these things at once. This discipline, this is what keeps you clear-headed when the pressure's on.
Sooner or later, you're going to get conflicting numbers from different agencies. It always happens. Your job isn't to solve it or hide it. Your job is to make the disagreement clear. You pick one number from what you think is the most reliable source for your headline. Then, in an annex, not the summary, you show the different numbers. You name the sources, say why you think they're different, and note that a meeting is scheduled to sort it out. This shows you're in control of the information, even the messy parts.
And finally, remember that your data is only useful if it makes someone do something. That's why you need pre-agreed triggers. For example, if the time it takes for cases to double drops below 3 days, you don't call a meeting to discuss it. You automatically switch to 12-hour reporting. If the case fatality rate jumps, it automatically triggers a request for expert support. This takes the guesswork out and turns your numbers into reflexes.
All right, we've covered the blueprint, the language, the workflow. Now it's your turn. We're going to want a quick drill. You are the on-site lead. An incident just went down at your facility. Here's the raw data coming in.
Okay, here's the situation. Just after 2 in the morning, you had an ammonia release, about 1.2 tons. 6 of your people were exposed, 2 are in the hospital, but their condition is stable. The plant is in a controlled shutdown, and so far there's no reported impact off-site. So just take a second, absorb those details. These are your raw ingredients. Start thinking, what matters, what's just noise?
Okay, the phone rings. It's your executive. She wants a briefing. Now. You need to give her that 4-sentence bluff. What's the situation? What's the trend? What's your main problem? And what do you need? Use the formula. Your 90 seconds starts now. Go.